G'day everyone, welcome to Apex Point Racing League Round 1 for Season 11 in the Pro-Am division. This is Interlagos, 31 laps. You must use the hard tyres, the medium tyres and the soft tyres, so there's going to be a minimum 2 stops in this race. I had a bit of a poor qualifying. I've decided to drive a new car. Just about everyone's in the Porsches. I think there's 9 Porsches in this field, a couple of other cars floating around. It is the best all-round car, but I've been driving it for 2 years and I decided I wanted to try something a little bit different. So I'm in the Ferrari, mucked up my qualifying, didn't heat up my tyres well enough and made a few mistakes. So starting 14th out of a field of 15, not a good start. Let's get into it. Speedy's Jag started with a flyer. Speedy's my teammate. Just gave me a little bit of a love tap. Give me a bit of a hurry on. This is a really hard track to pass, so given I qualified so poorly in 14th, I wasn't really that confident of making up too many positions. I'm also still getting used to driving the Ferrari after spending 2 seasons in Porsche, but Ferrari sounds good and I want to learn how to drive it, so it might not be as competitive this season, but it is what it is. You can see there's just a train of cars here. Very hard to pass. Stay in formation, I think, for 2 laps. Everyone's just warming their tyres, trying to stay out of trouble. Or at least that's what I'm trying to do. Activity up front, a bit of pushing and shoving. When you're at the back of the field, you don't mind seeing that because there's always a chance someone will spin or someone will get damaged. And when you're stuck behind a train of cars like this on a tight track, that's the sort of thing you're praying for, is people up front making mistakes. See, I could have tried to dive there in front of Angus, but it's just not worth the risk. I think I actually give him a tap here. Yeah, I do. Gave him a little bit of a tap. Speedy in the Jag, winding up. That car was really pulling some fast pace along the straights. Look at him come up to me. Tap, tap. Brakes early. Lap 3. I'm on the medium tyres. Tank of fuel lasts about 14 laps. Thought I'd start with the medium tyres, run right through, and then depending on how the race transpired, go to the hards or the softs. Bit of a mistake from Angus gives me an opportunity to duck in, but to back off trying to stay on the outside of Atlantis there, but there's a spot taken up through a mistake. Still getting used to trying to accelerate out of these tight corners in the Ferrari without spinning the rear. The Porsche was so much better coming out of corners. You could just put the foot down. That last turn there is where you want to get a good exit. If you can get a good exit there, it gives you the opportunity to try and pass turn 1 at the end of the straight. As you can see, certainly no decent exit there this time around. Times are relatively slow because everyone's kind of backing each other up. Ferrari does not like those curves at all. In fact, I think Angus might have a bit of a run on me here. He goes to have a bit of a look. Changes his mind. Oh, V-Man has a spin. There's another spot. Again, creeping up on the outside of Atlantis, but no point hanging it out there. Four laps down, picked up 2 spots. More so through other people's mistakes rather than me being quick. Go to the TV view for a little bit. See Atlantis and Real DC having a bit of a battle. Atlantis gets that pass done. I've got Angus right on my tail again. I think I go semi-defensive here. I park it in the middle of the road a little bit. Got a bit of a run on DC here, but show the nose. I tend to do that sometimes. Show the nose just to see if it puts them off. Just got to be patient through some of these corners. Here's the corner where you want to try and get a good exit out of. Get a good exit here. Set you up for a good run into turn 1, and I've got a good exit. Goes a bit defensive. I've probably come out a bit too early there. I'll probably stay in this draft a bit longer. Don't quite hit the apex there, but it is give up position. But he's then had a better exit out of turn 2 and 3, so I have to go a little bit defensive. Both go wide. That AstroTurf can be a bit slippery. Gap to Atlantis now, so just got to try and drive as strong as I can. spots. Just got to drive consistent now. Tyres are nice and warm. Stay consistent. Hope that others maybe make a mistake. Hope that your pace is maybe good enough to pull up some more positions. See Anchor's having a bit of a look at DC. I've now crept up behind Atlantis. Kind of goes defensive, then it kind of doesn't, so from memory I don't push it. I didn't quite get an overlap, so I decided not to push it. See the cars up front. Master and ASA have had a bit of a tangle. ASA or ASA, I'm not sure what it prefers to go by. The cars just kind of bottlenecked up a bit. They're late getting the power on. Got a bit of a gap to DC now, so I can just concentrate on eyes forward. Atlantis is having a dig here. Gets the job done. That brings me into the play. It opens the door for me to now have a crack at Pitmaster. Which I do. But get a little loose on the exit and have to give the spot back. Just hit that AstroTurf. Well, I'm not sure if it's AstroTurf or concrete, but definitely got very loose coming out of that corner, so. Kitty's looking a little fragile. Right up the back of Kitty, gave him a little tap there, I think. Starting to back up a little bit. Josh must have had a bit of an incident because he's sort of peeled back a little bit. He could be on hard tyres. I get right up on the back of Pity here. I'm hoping the Ferrari straight line speed pass, he gives me room. Now I've got to defend a little. Make sure he doesn't get in the slipstream and try and take that position back off. So we're up to 8th spot, but there's been a couple of cars I think that have pitted, so it's not a true 8th. I think my true position is 10th at the moment with 2 cars in the pits. But from here on, knowing what position I'm in when I'm racing in VR gets quite difficult because I don't know who's pitted, who's on what tyres. Happens for the next couple of laps. I'm pretty sure I stay in formation. I don't have the pace to hit. He's on hard, so that's why he was a little slow. So that position may not be a real position gained at this point in the race. I'll get very loose there. Back to take advantage of that. Skip ahead a lap or two because I'm pretty sure not much happens between now and when I pit. In 8th, still in 8th when you start lap 12, and go to 7th start of lap 13, but that's because Ant's pitted. He was on medium tyres. He's only done 12 laps because it's the start of lap 13. So he's only gone 12 laps. Got a bit of pressure happening here now from behind, from Angus. He decides not to have a dive on the inside. More wide here as well. Angus has got some pace on me here, but there's nowhere to go on the outside, and I know that, and he knows that as well. Love the sound of this car in VR. This is not the real VR view, but this is obviously the replay cockpit view, and part of the reason why I love it is that sound. So I've had another car go in the pits, so now I'm up to 6th, but I haven't pitted yet, and there's been a few cars that have pitted, so my plan was always to do 14 laps in this first stint. stop will put me in the back of the field a little bit. See, there's a few other cars on the same strategy as me. I've only got 1% of fuel left. So I just skip forward a little bit. I decided to put on the hards, top up some fuel. Doctor's speed decided to fill up. I decided to just put enough fuel in. My strategy was to just put enough fuel in for the next stint. So I put about 8 to 9 laps of fuel in, and I was just going to see how the race panned out. Gained a bit of time on Speedy on track in the pits because he filled up, but he was a bit quicker than me, so there was no staying with him. Plus he could be on the soft tyres. I didn't see what he jumped on. I'm on the hards, and right now I just want to get this stint out of the way. Real DC rolling all over the back. Typically I'm not quick on the outlap. Back in 11th after that pit stop, as you can see. Started 14th, so still gained some positions. Had a bit of a wobble there, and you can see Real DC's got a real opportunity to pass me here. He has a look. Close enough. Teammate. He's pretty quick in that Jag. He drove well. That car had some straight line speed, but unfortunately for Speedy, he ended up with quite a few penalties. See, some of the leaders are now pitting. They were on mediums. They made those mediums last 16 laps. It's a good effort. Someone's gone off. These 8 laps, I think I ended up doing 8 laps on the hards, were just painful. Hate driving. Just so slippery, the weather's cold, the track's cold. Got Real DC all over me like a rash. Dives in on the inside, so I have to give him space. Managed to hold the outside, still holding the outside, and now I've got the inside. To defend that position well. DC's on controller, so his driving inputs are a little bit more erratic. At least he looks like he's on controller. But you can see at this point of race, he seems to have a little bit more pace than me. Still got DC right up behind me. Start of lap 20. Someone's pitted, but that's giving me an extra position. But no passing, just getting my laps done, trying to keep away from real DC. Didn't have the pace to catch Dr. Speed. Start of lap 21. And start of lap 22. There's a couple of guys that have pitted now, so I'm now up in 6th, but that's not real track position. Had a few guys jump into the pits. Still got real GC close by. This is my last lap on the hards, so I'm just keen to get this lap done and dusted. So I decided to save the softs for the final stint. Reap's about to trigger 1 second penalty. Hits I go. Time to put on some hards, we might just fast forward. Reap's follows me in. Top off the fuel. Down to 13. So it was at this point in time in the race where I was feeling a bit nervous because I started 14th and I knew it made up a few positions up to about 11th. On track, but now I've done my second stop and I'm down in 13th, so I was beginning to feel a bit deflated. Maybe I wasn't that quick at all, and other people's strategies were panning out to be better than mine. Well, Pitty's gone in, Pitmaster's pitted, and so's Speedy. Real DC is also in the pits. There's Real DC coming out of the pits. So now I'm in 10th. On the softs. So now it's eyes forward. can see Ant, his internet connection wasn't great. There was quite a few people mentioning that his internet connection wasn't great, and he was going backwards as well. I believe he had damage. It's never fun when you're catching someone who might have damage because, sorry, when they're bouncing around due to internet connections, because you're never quite sure where their car really is. You can see here gaining quite quickly. So he clearly had a bit of damage. Tried to give a lot of space. Hugged that apex and got the damage done, got the pass done. Now it's eyes forward. Into 9th, started 14th. Starting to pick up Asa. This was the start of a great battle with Asa. Slightly crept up behind him, and then him and I found ourselves in a bit of a battle. Bit of a gap to real DC, so at this point in the race there was no major threat from behind, and I was just focused in on Asa. I'd already picked up 5 spots in terms of starting 14th and sitting in 9th. Mazda seems very strong on the straights. Angus is in the pits. Switching to the hards. Past Angus. Here's Angus coming out of the pits. So we've made another position now. We're up to 8th. About 4.5 laps to go, and we've made our way from 14th to 8th. decent exit out of the corner there, but even with a good exit and the slipstream, not really making any ground on that Mazda. I was never intending to pass there, I was just showing the nose, just to see if he would crack under pressure, but he holds the corner well. Decent run out of this corner, but not close enough. Had to back off there. Got a good exit, but nowhere to go. Dive on the inside with a little tap, and then I have to give the spot back. I'll give the track space back. And while I'm battling away, trying to get past Asa, Real DC is slowly but surely catching. Slowly creeping up as I'm trying to figure out a way past Asa. Get a good exit there. Sometimes get a good run in the next corner, but really get the best exit there. Again, a bit more pace than Asa here, but nothing I can do about it. About here in the race where I thought, you know what, I'm probably not going to get Asa. There's some parts of the track where I was strong and other parts of the track that he was strong, and I just couldn't put a lap together to make the pass. Stuck behind him, can't do anything about it. Pretty sloppy there. DC's crept up again. Atlantis has gone in the pits, and that's just gifted me another spot. up to 7th. Final lap, 7th place. Waiting to pounce. Coming up to this final turn before the main straight, this is where things go a little bit pear-shaped. Come out of this corner, and Asa, unbeknownst to me, runs out of petrol. I hit him in the rear. Real DC goes, thank you very much, I'll take those 2 positions. He goes from 8th to 7th. Sorry, from 8th to 6th, and I stay in 7th. V-Man comes in, just gets in front of Reeps. Pitmaster comes through. Poor old Asa who ran out of petrol. He's crawling his way over into 13th. So yeah, started 14th. Made my way up to 7th. Pretty happy with that. Thanks for watching.